Ever heard someone say Roger that and wondered what exactly Roger is supposed to mean? It sounds so official, so pilot why, right? Like something straight out of a World War II movie or a tense air traffic control tower scene. But what is it actually slang for? Is it some secret code? A shortened name? A relic of a bygone era? Stick around, because in this video, we're diving deep into the fascinating history and meaning behind this seemingly simple word. We'll explore its origins, trace its journey through military jargon and popular culture, and unravel the mystery of what Roger truly signifies. You might be surprised by the story behind this ubiquitous little word. Think about it. You've probably heard it countless times. In movies, TV shows, maybe even in everyday conversations. Someone gives an instruction, and the response comes back, clear and concise, Roger. It implies understanding, acknowledgement, a confirmation that the message has been received and will be acted upon. But why Roger? Why not okay, got it, or simply yes? To understand the significance of Roger, we need to rewind the clock quite a bit, all the way back to the early days of radio communication. Imagine a world without instant messaging, without phone calls that spanned continents with crystal clear audio. Communication over long distances was a technological marvel, often crackly, static-filled, and prone to interference. Clarity and efficiency were paramount, especially in critical situations like aviation and military operations. In these early days of radio, voice communication relied heavily on call signs, unique identifiers assigned to different stations or individuals. These call signs were crucial for avoiding confusion and ensuring that messages reached the intended recipient. However, spoken letters could often sound similar over a noisy radio transmission. Think about it, B and D can easily be mistaken, as can M and N, or F and S. In high-stakes environments, such misunderstandings could have serious consequences. To combat this problem, a phonetic alphabet was developed. This wasn't the NATO phonetic alphabet we know today, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, etc., but an earlier version known as the Joint Army/Navy phonetic alphabet, or sometimes referred to as the Able-Baker alphabet. This system assigned a specific word to each letter of the alphabet, making it much easier to distinguish between similar-sounding letters during radio transmissions. And here's where our friend Roger enters the picture. In the Able-Baker alphabet, the letter R was represented by the word Roger. So, if a pilot or a radio operator needed to spell out a word containing the letter R, they would say Roger instead. Now, you might be thinking, okay, so Roger was just a way to say R, how did it become a synonym for I understand or the message received? That's the next crucial part of the story. Imagine a scenario where a command is given over the radio, pilot, proceed to runway 3. The pilot, upon receiving and understanding the instruction, needed to acknowledge it clearly and concisely. Instead of just saying yes, which could be garbled or misinterpreted, they would acknowledge the transmission using their call sign and often repeat key parts of the message to confirm understanding. However, a shorter, even more efficient way to acknowledge a message developed. Since Roger unequivocally meant R, and R is the first letter of the word received, radio operators began using Roger as a shorthand to indicate that they had received and understood the message. It was a quick, clear, and universally understood way to say, message received. Think of it as a linguistic shortcut born out of necessity. In the fast-paced and often noisy world of radio communication, brevity and clarity were essential. Roger ticked both those boxes. It was a single, easily understood word that conveyed a crucial piece of information. The message got through. As radio communication became more widespread, particularly during World War II, the use of Roger as a confirmation of receipt became deeply ingrained in military jargon, especially within the Air Force and among ground control personnel. The skies during wartime were a chaotic ballet of aircraft, and clear, unambiguous communication was vital for safety and mission success. Roger became a standard part of this communication protocol. After the war, as military technology and terminology often seeped into civilian life, Roger also found its way into popular culture. Movies and television shows depicting military operations frequently use the term, further cementing its association with pilots, air traffic controllers, and a general sense of officialdom and clear communication. You might hear it in classic war films, where a pilot calmly responds "Roger that" to ground control instructions amidst the roar of engines and the tension of battle. This portrayal in media helped to solidify the understanding of Roger as a formal and efficient way of saying "I understand" or "the message received." Interestingly, the phonetic alphabet itself evolved over time. The Abel-Baker alphabet was eventually replaced by the more internationally recognized NATO phonetic alphabet: Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, Foxtrot, Golf, Hotel, India, Juliet, Kilo, Lima, Mike, November, Oscar, Papa, Quebec, Romeo, Sierra, Tango, Uniform, Victor, Whiskey, X-Ray, Yankee, Zulu. One in this new alphabet, the letter R is represented by Romeo. 1. Patents.google.com. Patents.google.com. So, why do we still hear Roger so frequently, even though the phonetic alphabet has changed? The answer lies in the power of tradition and the stickiness of language. Roger had already become deeply entrenched in the lexicon of aviation and military communication. It was a familiar and widely understood term. Even with the adoption of a new phonetic alphabet, the use of Roger as a confirmation persisted, often used interchangeably with Romeo or even on its own. Furthermore, Roger had already crossed over into civilian usage. Its appearance in popular culture had given it a life beyond its original technical purpose. People who had no direct connection to aviation or the military began using Roger simply because they had heard it and understood its general meaning of acknowledgement. Think about how certain slang terms or phrases from specific subcultures can eventually enter mainstream language. Roger followed a similar trajectory. Its initial use was highly specific and technical, but its concise and clear nature, coupled with its exposure in media, allowed it to be adopted more broadly. Today, while you might still hear Romeo used in formal aviation communication when specifically referring to the letter R, Roger continues to be widely understood as a general acknowledgement. It carries a certain weight of authority and efficiency, perhaps a lingering echo of its military origins. You might hear a dispatcher say, "Unit 4, proceed to the corner of Elm and Main," and the response could very well be, "Roger." It conveys that the instruction has been heard, understood, and will be followed. It's a quick and unambiguous way to confirm receipt. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.